Do you want to learn how you can create an API that allows your customers to upload images on your website? In this video, that is exactly what I'm going to show you how to do. Hi guys, my name is Sam with Complete Coding, where our aim is to make you into the best developer that you can be. If you learned something new in this video, make sure to hit that like button so that more developers just like yourselves get to see it. And if you haven't done already, make sure to subscribe down in the bottom corner so that you get updated next time I release a video. So in this video, we're going to be creating an AWS Lambda so that we can have our customers upload an image from our website. That image is going to be stored in a public S3 bucket, which means we can then go through all of those images at a later date and find all of that data. Because this is going to be a public bucket, we can actually show that image back to the customer. And if you wanted to do something like uploading a profile picture, you could associate that with their account, and then that would be shown everywhere that their profile is shown. So now we'll jump into the code and see how that is done. So that you're able to test our image upload API, I've built this simple web app. In this web app, you can enter the URL of your service, and then you can select an image. Once you've selected an image, you click open, it will upload it and then show you your image. This is just a nice little React app so that you guys can test the API that you're about to build. So we're going to refresh that, and then we're going to head over to our AWS serverless project so that we can start work and get ready to deploy our image upload. The first thing that we're going to do is add some configuration to our serverless YAML file so that we can do this upload. The first thing we need to do is add a new environment variable, call it image upload bucket. And this is going to point at self:/custom dot image upload bucket. The next thing we need to do is check that we have S3:* inside our allow actions. If you haven't got that, you can just add that on. So this just means that we are able to write our files to S3 later on. The next thing we need to do is go down to our custom section and create our image upload bucket as we've referenced up here. So we can say our image upload bucket points at my image upload bucket demo SWS. And just remember, this has to be completely unique. And if you find that the bucket name you want is taken, you can always add an extra couple of characters or a number onto the end. The next thing that we need to do is we need to actually create this bucket. If we scroll all the way down to the bottom of our code, we have our resources. And we already have a demo upload bucket. So we're going to create a new bucket here. We're going to call it our image upload bucket. It's going to have a type of AWS ::S3 ::bucket, and then it's going to have a couple of properties. And those properties are going to be a bucket name, and this is going to be dollar curly brackets self colon custom dot image upload bucket. And unlike the previous one, we're going to add another property onto this, which is called access control. And this is defining who can read these files, and we're going to set it to public read, which means that the general public can download your files, which is necessary if you want the file to be viewed as we do with our images. If we save that, we've now completed all of the configuration inside our serverless YAML. So now we can go into lambdas and endpoints and create a new file and call that image upload.js. Inside here, we can now start with our code. So exports.handler equals an async request that takes an event. Inside this event, we're going to do a massive try catch. And in this try catch, we're going to start by passing out the body. So const body equals JSON.parse event.body. Now the next thing we need to do is check that the body exists, and also check that we have fields such as image and the type of the image inside that body. So if there is not a body or not body.image or not body.mime, and mime is the type of the image, then we're going to return, and this is going to return a 400 response. So if we go into one of our other lambdas, we can copy this code and paste it in with a message of incorrect body on request. We also need to import this responses as we've done in here. So I'm just going to copy that import statement and paste it at the top. Now that we've got that done, we can do a little bit of extra checking. So one thing you need to check is that the MIME that has been passed up is allowed to be saved. And the way we do that is by at the top having a list of MIMEs that are allowed. So const allowed MIMEs equals an array with image slash JPEG, image slash PNG, and finally image slash JPG. So those are the file formats that we are going to accept. So in here we now need to carry on and say that if the allowed MIMEs dot includes body dot . mime, and if it does not include that, then we are going to return, again, response.400, this time with a message of mime is not allowed. So now we've got to the point where we know that there is an image and a mime, and the mime is of the correct storage type. So what we need to do is get the image data off the body. So let image data equal body dot image. And now with this, sometimes the image will be coming in a base 64 string. So what we can do is say if body.image.substring 0,7. And what this is just doing is checking the first 7 characters on that string. And if that equals base 64, comma, then what we can do is say that the image data equals body.image.substring, and we're going to substitute 7 and then body.image.length. So all we're doing there is chopping off this part from the front of the image string if it exists. The next thing we need to do is convert it into a buffer so that we can store it into S3. So const buffer equals buffer dot from, and it's going to be making the buffer from the image data, and we're going to be using base 64 as our format. Now that we've got the buffer, we need to convert that into the file. So const file info equals await file type dot from buffer and pass in that buffer. Now the really keen-eyed among you might have recognised that we haven't actually got a file type. So what we need to do is go into our console and do an npm install --save file -type. Now that that has installed, we need to go to the top of our file and import star as file type from file type. This is a package which is good for converting file formats. Now that we've done that, we can get some info off this file. So the first thing we need to do is get the extension. So const detected ext for detected extension equals fileinfo.ext. As well as that, we can say that const detected mime equals fileinfo.mime. And what this is going to do is make sure that the values of the data that is passed up inside the data, we need to check that that matches the mime and the extension of the file that has been uploaded as well. So if detected mime does not equal body.mime, then we need to return another 400. Response. And here we're going to have a message of MIME types don't match. If the MIME types do match, then we're now down to the fun part. We're down to writing some stuff into S3. So the first thing we need to do is give this file a name. So const name equals UUID. And in this package, we need to scroll up and we need to install UUID as well. So in our console, we can do npm install --save UUID. And in our code, we can say import curly braces v4 as UUID from a string of UUID. This v4 as UUID is just saying we want to be using the v4 version. So when we've called this, we're now going to have a string. The next thing we need to do is declare the key. So const key equals, and we're going to use backtick strings here to join the name that we've just generated, a dot, and then the extension of the file. So detected, and it's not going to be the MIME, it's going to be the extension. So this key is basically the full file name. Now that we have that, we're going to add a little console log in. And that console log is going to say writing image to bucket called key. So now we have that, we can go and start creating our S3 write. So await S3 dot put object, and we're going to have to pass in some parameters. Before we can do this, we actually need to instantiate the S3 class. So if we scroll up to the top of our code, the first thing we need to do is import star as AWS from AWS SDK, and then say that const S3 equals a new AWS dot S3 class. This now means we can write to S3, and we can go back to creating our parameters. Our parameters have a couple of things. First, there is a body, and that is going to be the buffer that we created earlier. We need the key, which in our case is going to be the lowercase key. We need a content type, and that content type is going to be body.mime. And we also need to define the bucket that we're going to upload it to. So to upload it to the bucket, we've already defined that bucket inside our environment variables in our serverless YAML, just here. So what we're going to do is copy that and say that this is going to be process.env dot image upload bucket. The last thing we need to do is add an access control, ACL. This is just specifying what the access to this specific file is, and this is going to be public-read. Now that we have that, we can just add dot promise onto the end of this to turn the S3 put into an asynchronous process. With that all done, the last thing we need to do is return a 200 if this has all succeeded, and we want to return the URL of the image that we've just sent up. The way that we do that is we say that const URL equals backtick strings, and this is going to be https:// it's going to be the bucket name, which we can get from our environment variables again. It's then going to be .s3 dash, and then here we're going to put our region. And the way we're going to get the region is we're going to go back into our serverless YAML and add another environment variable called region. This is going to be self:/provider.region, which is going to point to here. So now we can go back into here, and the region is going to be process.env.region. After that, we now need to add a little bit more, so it's .amazon aws.com/key. So this is going to get turned into the URL that the image is hosted at inside our S3 bucket. So now we need to return that. So return responses._200, and inside there we're going to have an image URL, which is going to point to that URL we've just generated. That's great. So now we can go on to the catch statement. So if there is any sort of error, first thing is always a good idea to do is console.log error, and then the error itself. Now we can return responses._400, and in here you can have a message of error.message or failed to upload image. If we save all of that, we've now completed all of the code that we need inside here. So we just need to do one last thing in our serverless YAML, which is add that as a function. If we find our functions section and find the one at the very bottom, which might be send email, copy this and create a new endpoint. This time it's not going to be called send email, it's going to be called image upload. And it's going to point at handlers at lambda/endpoints/image upload.handler. And finally the path is going to be image-upload. Once we've saved all of that, we have everything we need to deploy this. So we can go into our terminal, run clear just to make sure this is empty, and then run SLS deploy. This will now create our new image upload bucket and our new image upload Lambda with its API. This takes a little bit of time, so I'll get back to you when that is done. So now that has finished deploying, we can scroll up and find our image upload URL and copy that. If we head over to our test image upload website, and the link for this will be in the description just below, we can paste our new image upload link, we can choose an image and hit open. As you saw, it was uploading for a second, and then it shows us our image that is now hosted in our S3 bucket. We can tell that because if we right click and if we click on inspect, we can see that this is a My Image Upload Bucket Demo SWS, and then there is a unique identifier 7048C364. We can check that by if we go into our AWS console, go into S3, then we can look for the bucket that we've just created, and that is called the My Image Upload Bucket, and we can see that ID just there. So this was the 0748. If we click on that and hit open, it will open that image in a new URL. To redo this, if you refresh the page, use the same URL as we did before, and this time I'm going to choose a different image, hit open, and there we go. Back in our S3, if we refresh the page, we can see we have now a new one uploaded a minute ago, and if we open that, that is our new image that has been uploaded. I really hope you've enjoyed this video and have learnt something new. To help me make the best content possible, I've created a short 2-minute survey that is linked in the description below. It'd really help me out if you can fill that out so I can make the videos that are going to help you become a better developer. In this video, we have learned how we can create an API using serverless that allows our customers to upload an image from your website. This has a load of really cool applications, from profile pictures to creating an online gallery, or allowing customers to upload images of how they've been using your products. The options are limitless, and it's all down to your imagination. If you've learned something new in this video, please make sure to give it a like, as it really helps out the channel by sharing this to more developers just like yourselves. And if you haven't done already, make sure to subscribe down here, turn on the bell notification, and that means you'll get notified next time I release a video teaching you how to become an even better developer.